everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. This is Karen.
Hey everybody, I am Shane.
Today we're looking at day 1 of Down the Rabbit Hole of English inspired by Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Oh, I know. And the vocabulary words are publish.
Publish.
The magazine was first published in 1942.
Magical.
Magical.
It is said that these stones are magical and will bring luck to whoever touches them.
Oh,
want to touch?
Yes. All right.
Here, catch.
Okay, complicated.
Complicated.
This problem is quite complicated. There is no clear solution.
Pursue.
Pursue.
Jill is pursuing work in the airline industry.
Go, Jill.
All right.
Enormous.
Enormous.
An enormous whale swam in the water.
Wow.
So we're talking about some interesting sayings.
Yes, that come inspired by Alice in Wonderland.
That's right.
So we say Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, but usually we just say
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
That's right.
So what are some of these phrases that we use in everyday English that really come from the book?
Well, I know I've heard a saying called down the rabbit hole, but I never knew. What does it mean?
Yes, if you go down the rabbit hole, like in the book, when she went down the rabbit hole, she went on this really crazy adventure.
Okay.
So the idea is if you go down a rabbit hole, then you're going to get yourself into a long, complicated process. So you'll say, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because you know it's going to just be crazy.
Okay, so actually that saying comes from the story, Alice in Wonderland. How about the other one? What's the other one? Chasing
a white rabbit.
Chasing a white rabbit. So that, I remember that means you're pursuing the impossible, right?
Right, so if you chase a white rabbit, you're pursuing something that's impossible.
Because it's really, really hard to actually chase that white rabbit.
Things might just become curiouser and curiouser.
Curiouser and curiouser, what does that mean?
It means that some strange situation is just going to get stranger and stranger.
Just like in the story, after she had the cake and she turned really, really big, right?
Yeah.
Curiouser and curiouser.
That's right. So there's a lot of these expressions that we use in English that really come from this book. So you really should read the book if you haven't, or watch a movie. There's so many different movies that were made about this, right?
That's right, but these are some of the expressions that you can also use now.
All right.
Okay, enjoy today's lesson.
Enjoy.
Down the Rabbit Hole of English inspired by Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. In 1865, a British author named Lewis Carroll published a children's book that would soon become a favorite of readers of all ages. In the story, an ordinary girl named Alice discovers a most extraordinary world filled with unusual sights and even more unusual inhabitants. The book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, is responsible for the spread of several common English phrases. Here are the best-known examples.
Welcome to Live Interactive English Magazine. Today's lesson is called Down the Rabbit Hole of English, inspired by Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Day 1. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff, and boy was that ever a long title.
That is a long title, but of course we have the title of another book in our title, thus making it sort of two titles. And actually we also give you a little clue about what the next 2 days of articles is going to be like. Down the rabbit hole.
Of English.
Of English, yes. Well, down the rabbit hole is an expression we often use when talking about really getting deep into something, you know, sort of finding out even more information than you could possibly imagine, like you're exploring underground down a rabbit hole. And that expression comes from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, a very famous book, popular set of movies, and also the topic of our 2 days of articles.
There you go. Now, this book was written by Lewis Carroll.
Yes.
And this guy's name is Mike. I'm Jeff, he's Mike. Let's start reading about a book written by Lewis.
When was that
Lewis
book?
Carroll.
When was that book written?
1865, Mike. In 1865, a British author named Lewis Carroll published a children's book that would soon become a favorite of readers of all ages. Yes, this was a children's book, but pretty much anyone can open this book and enjoy it.
Absolutely, they can. And then when you publish something, as we saw right after there, it said Lewis Carroll published this book. That's a verb, and basically it means to print and release some kind of written material. Newspaper companies publish papers every morning. Magazines might be published every week or every month. And famous authors will publish their books and then sell them all around the world. So it's kind of like when you make things in a factory. When you publish things, that means the company that's printing the book will put it into a book form and then release it, send it out to all the stores and shops where we can buy it. For example, the magazine was first published in 1942. Maybe Sports Illustrated magazine? I don't know.
That's not a bad guess. Not a bad
sports
guess.
Magazine that's published every month in America.
True, but let's talk more about Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Yes, in the story, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, an ordinary girl named Alice discovers a most extraordinary world filled with unusual sights and even more unusual inhabitants. And yes, she finds this world by going down a rabbit hole. In the book, it's not a rabbit hole of English, which is what we're going to be talking about. Anyways, the book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, is responsible for the spread of several common English phrases. Sounds like the rabbit hole of English has begun.
Absolutely. And here are the best known examples. Well, not right here. We're going to have to take a break, and then we'll get to some of the best known examples. Examples you might have heard that are taken from the book. Even if you haven't read the book, you might have heard these well-known expressions.
Yeah, after the break,
down the rabbit hole?
we start going down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So stay tuned.
All right.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这2天的课文是要介绍来自《爱丽丝梦游仙境》的一些经典用语。那这本童书是在186年出版发行的，作者是英国作家 Lewis Carroll 路易斯卡罗。那故事里面主角是一位名叫爱丽丝的平凡女孩，她发现一个奇特的世界，里面充满奇特的景象以及奇特的居民。由于这本书受到各个年龄层读者的喜爱，使得好几个常见的英语词汇传播开来。像课文标题里面的 Down the Rabbit Hole 是指爱丽丝她看到带着怀表的白兔就追上去，然后接着不加思索就跟着跳进这个兔子洞里。这个用语引申的意思就是某种奇怪、令人困惑或是毫无国籍而且难以逃离的情况。那我们先来看单字 publish。Publish 它是动词，表示出版或是发行。那补充单字 British 是形容词，形容英国的或是英国人的。那么 extraordinary 它是形容奇特的或是非比寻常的。那它是由字首 extra 这个字表示超越或是超出，再加上 ordinary 表示普通或是平凡，把2个字组合而成。至于 inhabitant 它是指居民，是当名词来用。那我们赶快回到课文当中，看看还有哪些是来自《爱丽丝梦游仙境》的经典用语吧。
Down the rabbit hole of English inspired by Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. In the story, Alice spots the white rabbit, who is dressed like a human and in a big hurry. She follows the rabbit and falls down a long tunnel, which leads her to a magical world called Wonderland. For this reason, people talk about going down the rabbit hole when they begin a particularly strange or complicated process. Chasing a white rabbit, on the other hand, means to pursue the impossible.
Okay, folks, the name of the game is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Well, not really. We're going to be talking about a rabbit hole of English that was inspired by this book, but I digress. In the story, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Alice spots the white rabbit, who is dressed like a human and in a big hurry.
That's right. He's late for a very important date. So this is how the story begins, and then she follows the rabbit and falls down a long tunnel, this would be the rabbit hole, which leads her to a magical world called Wonderland, and that's why it's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It's a magical world. It really is. If you've read the book or seen the movies, you will know that.
It is a magical world indeed, but before we start talking about magic and Wonderland, let's talk about the adjective magical. The adjective magical means of or having to do with magic. Yeah, magical powers are supernatural powers capable of doing or achieving the seemingly impossible. Yeah, very often, magicians, those people who pull rabbits out of hats and cut people in half and stuff like that, not for real. They do magic or they possess magical powers. For example, it is said that these stones are magical and will bring luck to whoever touches them.
That's right. For this reason, for the reason of Alice and the beginning of her journey going down a rabbit hole, for this reason, people talk about going down the rabbit hole. When they begin a particularly strange or complicated process, when they really get deep into something, especially if things get a little bit strange, as they did for Alice on her journey. Yes, sometimes when you go down a rabbit hole, things can get quite complicated. And this adjective basically means complex. There's a lot to it. It's not easy to understand. If you ever start studying something really in depth, go to the library and check out all the books on a certain topic, you'll realize that many things in the world are very complicated, whether it's history or how an airplane works or, how to explain the current global economy.
Or quantum dynamics.
Or quantum dynamics, where you need the brain of an Einstein. Things like that are complicated. It's the opposite, of course, of simple or easy. If it's not simple or easy, you go to the other end, it might get complicated. For example, this problem is quite complicated. There is no clear solution. We could be talking about global warming or poverty or something like that. Complicated stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Now, we've talked about what it means to go down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Next, let's talk about what it means to chase a white rabbit. Yeah, chasing a white rabbit, on the other hand, means to pursue the impossible. So yeah, Alice, she's about to go to Wonderland. She doesn't know that. She's about to go down the rabbit hole, and she chases the white rabbit in order to start that journey. And yes, the journey she's going to go on is totally impossible. So yeah, so chasing a white rabbit, well, in this particular situation, it means to pursue or to follow or to go after the impossible, or to go after or follow something that is impossible. Yes, the verb pursue means to go after something or to follow something because you want to get that thing. For example, Jill is pursuing work in the airline industry. She's wanted to be a flight attendant her whole life, so she's going after her dreams. She's chasing her dreams.
There you go. And as in the story, chasing a white rabbit means you won't catch the rabbit, as Alice doesn't catch the rabbit in the story. I believe she starts to shrink until she's tiny or something like that.
Shrinks and it gets big and cry. Oh my Lord.
But she never catches that rabbit. But we have caught a break. So let's take a break and then we'll be back to find out more about Alice's adventures in Wonderland and the wonderful language we have learned from it.
在故事里，爱丽丝看见白兔，那她打扮得像是人类一样，而且匆匆忙忙的。好奇的爱丽丝就跟着兔子跑，然后接着掉进一个长长的地道，把她带到一个名叫 Wonderland， 也就是仙境的一个魔幻世界。于是，当人们要开启一段特别奇怪或者是很复杂的过程时，就会说 down the rabbit hole， 掉进兔子洞里。好，另外还有一个用语是 chase a white rabbit， 追逐白兔。那这是用来表达追求不可能的事。这边有3个单字 magical， 它是形容神奇的、魔幻的或是有魔力的。Jeff 在解释单字时提到 supernatural 就是形容超自然的或者是形容神奇的、不可思议的。好，下一个单字 complicated， 它是形容复杂的，意思跟 complex 差不多， complex 也可以用来形容复杂的。那老师们在列举一些复杂的事物时，提到一个很难的东西叫 quantum dynamics 就是指量子动力学。好，至于 pursue 这个动词它表示追求。那单字例句里面写到说 Jill 她在找航空业方面的工作，也许她是想要当空服员。那我们就顺便学一下空服员的英文是 flight attendant。接着回到课文中。
Down the rabbit hole of English inspired by Alice's adventures in Wonderland. At the bottom of the rabbit hole, Alice finds herself growing to enormous size after eating a magical piece of cake. As she grows, she cries, curiouser and curiouser, a phrase used today to express surprise as a strange situation becomes stranger still.
Everyone, let's go further down the rabbit hole of English. Now, right before the break, we learned that Alice chased a white rabbit. Now, she's never going to get that white rabbit. She's never going to catch that white rabbit. So yeah, chasing a white rabbit, that's impossible. Further, yeah, she goes down a rabbit hole and she enters a magical, strange, complicated world. Now, at the bottom of the rabbit hole, though, in Wonderland, Alice finds herself growing to enormous size after eating a magical piece of cake.
Yeah, that's right.
So she shrinks down and then she also grows enormous after eating a magical piece of cake.
Very strange things happen to Alice in Wonderland.
A lot of magical stuff, yeah.
A lot of magical stuff, especially if she smokes things, drinks things, or eats things. It's a very weird place she's in. But at one point, she goes from being very small to being very big, or being very enormous. If you're enormous, if something is enormous, if we're talking about an enormous thing, this adjective just means huge, gigantic, massive, something really, really, really big. For example, an enormous whale swam in the water. Well, that's where enormous whales are usually found.
Where else can you swim but in water?
Right, sure.
Anyways, as she grows enormous, as she grows, she cries, curiouser and curiouser. A phrase used today to express surprise as a strange situation becomes stranger still. And Mike, I've got to be honest now.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone use this phrase before. Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah.
Is curiouser even a word? Wouldn't you say more curious?
I think correct. If you want to use correct English, you would say it is more curious. Curious, of course, meaning sort of like strange. So when something becomes even more strange, you could say it is more curious. Or, to use the quote from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, curiouser and curiouser. Stranger and stranger, weirder and weirder.
I like that one. Yeah. Weirder and weirder. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to end today's lesson, but we'll be back with more on day 2 of our lesson on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
爱丽丝在兔子洞里喝下一瓶饮料，结果人缩小了。然后后来她又吃了一块魔法蛋糕，身体又变得非常巨大。当她身体慢慢变大的时候，她大叫着 "Curiouser and curiouser"。越来越奇怪。好，现在当人们碰到某个奇怪的情况变得更加奇怪的时候，就会用这个词汇来表达惊讶。我们最后来看单字 enormous。enormous 它是形容词，形容巨大的、庞大的，意思就跟 gigantic 或者是 massive 或者是 huge 差不多。那顺便学一下，缩小的英文可以用 shrink 来表示 ，shrink 就是指缩小或者是减少。好啦，那么以上是这个讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。大家好，我是 Hanny。在今天的课程中，我们要介绍3个文法重点。第一个是副词片语 on the other hand， 第二个是 the 加上形容词的用法，第三个是 find 加上受词加受词补语的句型。首先，我们来学习副词片语 on the other hand， 表示另一方面，可以摆在句首或是句中，用来表示跟前面叙述的状况有差异或是有对比的另外一个状况。例如 Diane is a shy, quiet girl. Her sister, on the other hand, is very talkative. Diane 是个安静内向的女孩，另一方面，她的姐姐则是非常健谈。接下来，我们来学习 the 加上形容词的用法。定冠词 the 加上形容词可以做名词片语，表示某类的人事物。举例来说 ，the rich 就表示富人、有钱人 ，the young 表示年轻人 ，the homeless 表示无家可归的人 ，the impossible 表示不可能的事 ，the unknown 则是指未知的事物。例如 She devoted herself to helping the poor. 她奉献自己的一生，致力于帮助贫困的人。最后，我们来学习 find 加受词加受词补语的句型，表示发现什么什么，处于某种状态。Find 在这里是指发现 或是发觉。受词补语则是用来表达受词的状况。常见的受词补语包含介系词片语、现在分词、过去分词、形容词等等。来看几个例句。The police found his behavior suspicious. 警方发觉他的行为可疑。句中的受词补语是形容词。She found the dog sleeping on her bed. 她发现狗狗正在睡在她的床上。这边的受词补语是现在分词。They found the door unlocked. 他们发现门没有锁。这边是用过去分词来当受词补语。I found my hair clip under the bed. 我发现我的发夹在床底下。那这边是用介系词片语来当受词补语。以上是今天的重点整理，我们下次见喽。See you next time. Bye.
欢迎收看《就爱讲英文》，我是悠悠，
我是季安。
我跟你说，你有没有收到那个礼物？你不是很喜欢，要不然就是尺寸很困扰。
真的有呢，然后我们就可以偷偷把它拿去退就好了。
哈，最好是这样。我跟你讲，我有一个朋友送我一件毛衣，我很喜欢，但尺寸不合。
尺寸不合嘛，就是、
他送我 XXL。
应该是 XXS 吧？
对。
好，尺寸不合呢，就是 It doesn't fit me.
It doesn't fit me.
这个东西不适合我。
不适合
It doesn't fit me， 不合。好，所以你只要保留这个标签，就是这个 tag。那没有收据、没有 receipt 的话呢，也可以换诶。对，但台湾的店家大部分还是都需要这个购买证明要收据哦。但是美国呢，有些店家就没有那么严格。像沃尔玛，
太好了，赶快教我这种退换货的方式要怎么说？
你就直接到服务台说、I need to return something. I need to return 这个东西。好，比如说呢 I need to return this sweater.
I need to return this sweater.
It doesn't fit me.
It doesn't fit me.
这个时候服务人就会带你到这个退换货的柜台嘛，哈，就是这个 refunds and exchanges counter。
可是他万一跟我要收据怎么办？
你就说没有收据啊，因为这是礼物。
对
I don't have the receipt. This was a gift.
I don't have the receipt. This was a gift.
那他就会说没有收据就不能给现金哦。I can't give you a cash refund if you don't have the receipt.
I can give you a cash refund if you don't have the receipt. 那怎么办？我不要退款不对，我不需要退款，我只想换货。
只想换货啊，就直接讲 I don't want a refund.
I don't want a refund.
I just want to make an exchange.
I just want to make an exchange.
对 ，exchange 就是这个交换嘛，
以物
换货。I just want to make an exchange.
可是我还是想要再问一下，有没有这件同款同色的库存？但是起码要小一点吧。
OK， 那你就说 Do you have any in the same style and color in stock?
Do you have any in the same style and color in stock?
其实这个句型就是 Do you have ... in stock？ 你有没有这个东西的库存呢 ？Do you have something in stock？ 所以呢，这个东西同款同颜色嘛 ？Do you have any in the same style and color in stock?
Do you have any in the same style and color in stock? 那我们来看今天的
Life action.
Excuse me. I need to return the sweater. It doesn't fit me.
Do you have the receipt?
No, I don't. There was a gift from my ex-husband.
I'm sorry, I can't give you a cash refund if you don't have the receipt.
That's okay. I don't want a refund. I just want to make an exchange.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, perfect. Do you have any in the same style and color in stock?
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Oh.